In the early spring of 1999, there was a shower of bombs, succeeding the war between Serbs and Albanians in Kosovo. It was NATO's answer to the regime of Serbian political leader Milosevic, and what was already broken got destroyed even more. I was born and raised in a safe Holland, my whole life being half Yugoslavian, but at a certain point that became half Serbian. Why? Because you ought to identify yourself and provide answers. People ask questions. Questions that I still can't answer. I wasn't there. I too need questions answered, and I want to discover what this recent history means for my generation over there. They inherited a conflict and now need to build their future in an uncertain present. In the remaining presence of KFOR troops, Belgrade, Pristina and international administrations are pulling ropes for status and governance. Only about 58 countries worldwide recognize Kosovo as a country. This film learns about the lives of Bojan and Besa, two young people who are trying to create their own destiny. Both born in Mitrovica, a city divided by north and south, Serbian and Albanian.
We're at the south part of Mitrovica. Place only lived with Albanians, and right now we're going on the north side, the place where I was born and raised over there, and check the other side of the city. In the north side there are Serbs living, some Albanians and also some Bosniaks, while in the south part remained only Albanians. It all started after the war, not during the war. The city just got divided and that's all.
This is a cultural center. As you can see, almost all institutions remain in the southern part, and unfortunately, Serbs from the north cannot use, these facilities, the sports hall or the cultural center. And this bridge, instead of connecting people, unfortunately, it is dividing people. I mean, that's the current situation. It's not very safe, for the Serbs from the north to cross this bridge and go to the south. But sometimes, when I'm alone, I don't cross it, Sometimes, if I have to, Only when I have to come and work in NDI office. There were many conflicts, and many clashes here in Mitrovica. So this is probably the best point to observe, the both parts of the town. I think this has been there since 1999. This used to be confidence zone, and that there are police around, and sometimes the soldiers. So here it's, let's say, safe. Before the NATO aggression on Yugoslavia, it was different. Before the war. My high school was in the south. I was attending my first year of grammar school in the south. But after NATO bombing, I continued my secondary education in the north. And since then, southern part is, let's say, forbidden for us.
My primary school was in the beginning in the north, and after the war they removed it at the south. Actually, at that school, the white one, I had to cross the bridge almost every day, and they stopped us and they were teasing us all the time, and we were there for like 45 minutes, and they didn't want us to let us go home, but at the same time they didn't want us come down to the south. So they were like, you should stay over here. And later on, after some discussions, my dad with them, they let us go home, and that was the day that I told to my parents, I cannot handle it anymore. I'm leaving school or find me a solution. And at that time, they thought that the best solution is for me to go and start school in Pristina. That was the day that I really decided I cannot handle it anymore. It was too much for me. It doesn't matter where I go, where I live, I'm still from Mitrovica and I belong to this city. I love because it has so many memories of my childhood, and I love it because I was born and raised over here. I belong here.
You know, there are no more Serbs in southern part of the town because almost all of them were forced out in 1999. It makes me feel sad, you know, and disappointed. But you know, for now, that's how it is. That's reality, and I hope that, you know, the future generations will change it.
Mikronaselje, it's in Serbian language. In Albanian language, it's Kodrajmina Torve. So I live over there, and it's the only neighborhood in Mitrovica that it's mixed. I'm okay, I got used to it. I got adopted to that situation because it was the same thing from the very beginning. Mom?
Sister, right?
She's the second, the third, and the fourth. Everything is here. I'm not someone that would take that big risk and start living the life all alone, away from my family. I don't have problems over here. Everything around me, it's perfect. I have people that love me. I know that even if I do something bad, they will be there and they will support me. And even though they know it's bad, they'll be like, okay, you learn from your mistakes.
I was born in Kosovska Mitrovica, not here. And 2 first years of my life we spent in my grandfather and grandmother home. And then 2 years after, when I was 2 years old, my parents, they bought a house. So I live here in Zvečan since my second year. I have many memories, you know, about this playground because I was playing basketball and football with my friends here since I was 7 or 8. And especially my memories are related to this playground from 1999 during the NATO aggression. So we were playing basketball here like almost every day during those 78 days of bombing.
This was built after the war. Because before the war it was very simple, just grass and trees and stuff, but it was built after the war, and the purpose of being built, it was kids of Albanians and Serbs, Bosniaks, Turkish kids, to have a place where they could hang around and play all day long together. That was the main purpose. At my age, if we played over here, I'm positive it would be like 40, 50, and right now look at them.
A few times while we were playing basketball, you know, we saw tomahawks, you know, these rockets above our heads, and one situation was really frightening. We jumped on the ground because we thought that it is, you know, approaching to us, because the sound was really strong. So playing basketball during the bombing and you know, under these aircrafts and these tomahawks was some kind of like a rebellion, you know, against the NATO aggression. That was our exit. Most of my friends were persuaded that, you know, our country Serbia will be bombed, And I was maybe the only one saying, no way, these are just threats, this is not going to happen. Probably some compromise will be reached. Peace doesn't have a price. We heard the first explosions, and then I was shocked, but then I realized that, it is really happening. My first neighbor, she's married to Albanian. She has 2 sons, and they were playing basketball with us, Nothing was the same after the bombing. And I think the wrong politics of international community in 1999 caused, this big gap and, the current situation.
It's almost a dead zone. Nobody gets to visit it. Before the war, usually people from the south came up here, all the way up here just to visit it, to see it, enjoy the view and stuff, because you can see all the Mitrovica from this place. But right now, just the people from this neighborhood come over here. I don't know, there's nothing special about my Mitrovica anymore. I don't like nothing from this Mitrovica right now. Nothing at all. I feel much better with my Mitrovica, so that's the reason why I come over here. I don't go out. I go stay at my home, visit my family, grab a book with me and watch any movie or something, because I like to keep the good memories for myself. All of these houses are my neighborhood actually, and some of them, as you can see, they are burned. The burned ones are Albanians' houses that got burned during the war. They never got rebuilt because the owners removed and they start living Pristina or abroad Pristina. While the others that are still here, they used to be also here during the war. Like my case, we stayed over here all the war. At that time, they thought that the best thing was to stay home, which was not at all, actually. We were so scared, we thought one of the nights it's gonna be our turn and we're gonna be inside, nowhere to go, nothing to do. So definitely that was the worst thing ever. When I think better, it made me kind of stronger. Definitely it made me kind of stronger. It made me choose what I'm studying right now, because I don't know. I think me and my generation somehow can work, not just in this city, but in all Kosovo. So that's the main reason I chose international relations and diplomacy. Because once and for all, this country deserves to be known as a country and deserves the freedom.
KLA, is so-called Kosovo Liberty Army, and they were a guerrilla, a terroristic organization. They started to kidnap civilians, to kidnap a police officer in 1996, 1997. There is a prejudice on the West, mostly in Western European countries, that everything started in 1999. But it didn't. My uncle, he was killed in 1998 by KLA. He was a businessman and he had a restaurant in central Kosovo. He was on his way to that place, and he was shot with more than 20 bullets. I couldn't consider myself as a Serb without Kosovo, and I cannot consider Serbia as a country, as Serbia without Kosovo, because Serbia without Kosovo is the rest of Serbia. It is not Serbia. I think we will be in this situation of frozen conflict for the time being. So maybe, hopefully, some new generations, young generations will, raise this issue again and say, okay, it is not possible to live, like now, to live segregated and separated. Let's sit and talk and find some compromise, some solution that we will all accept. And that's the only way to have like a joint life and a normal future. Otherwise, you know, this will be the region of, you know, divided communities, divided people. My dream? My dream is to have a family and to have a decent, normal, peaceful life.
Somewhere you can lay down and dream, and whatever you dream, it will become true. You'll dream you'll be a princess, you are a princess. Dream you are a president, you are a president. Dream you're free, you'll be free. My dream, to touch the sky. I always wanted to touch the sky and to see how it feels, because from here to me it looks so soft. I always wanted to see if it feels that soft. I'm gonna touch it one day, I'm positive. The facts and the things that Serbs were doing were much bigger than their words. That night, some soldiers came into our house and they were like pushing guns into my dad's face, and they told us that when we come back tonight, we don't want your family in, we want you over here all alone, all by yourself, and then we can discuss the situation. And we were smart enough to understand that they were not going to discuss nothing at all. So after they left, our neighbor came in, and when we talked, she was like, the best thing to do is for you to come at our house tonight. So even if they come, they won't reach you. My dad went and we stayed home. They didn't even come that night. It's just that they wanted to scare us, and I think what they wanted is to get us traumatized. We were kids. I was only 9 years old at that time, while my sisters and my brother were babies. So that's all. We are thankful to that neighbor, though. Ćao, šta radite? Da. Hvala ti puno. We're going at South Mitrovica, but we're not using the big bridge, we're using the small bridge. I used to come very often at this river. See, I don't get to come to the river just because of these things. See? And they just don't give me the feeling that I'm free. They won't take them off until something happens with the city, until they know if it's divided or it's just Mitrovica as it used to be. Actually, I don't remember it as a day because I was not in Mitrovica, I was in Pristina. But I do remember that I got stressed trying to call my parents to see if they were okay. All day long staying in front of TV, trying to find out what's going on. And I do remember that day as a very stressed day, and whenever something happens to Mitrovica, it's always stress to me, and it's always the worst day of my life.
I was in the center of Zvečan with my friend, and then we saw an old lady crying and screaming, "What are you doing here? Go to Mitrovica. There is a disaster. Albanians, they're crossing the bridge. They want to kill us all." And we took a taxi immediately. We went to Mitrovica, and when we arrived there, we saw what was happening. There were bullets around, so we had to hide. We hid behind some vehicles and behind some buildings. We were not there to attack anybody or to harm anybody. We were there just to defend us, our families, and our homes.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was an Albanian guy that jumped into a river and got killed. And they say that that Albanian kid was chased by Serbs. So that's the reason. And then it was on the court, and they said that it was not by the Serbs, but it was by some dogs. And he got afraid, so he jumped into a river and stuff. I was not there, I'm not so sure. I didn't see it with my own eyes, so.
Unfortunately, they were dead people. I know that two people from the north, two Serbs from the north, were killed by the sniper, by the Albanian. And also I think there were some murdered Albanians by NATO, by KFOR soldiers. It was a disgrace for the UN mission and NATO. They didn't, prevented it. They didn't stop it. We are in front of the NDI office, so we are having a staff meeting. We are going to talk about the progress of our project. So the complete NDI staff will be there. Ovo nije naplatio? Ne. Nisi pravio grešku? Okay, I will just give you a brief information about the yesterday training. So, as you know, we had the training in advocacy.
We're going to a meeting that I'm doing with 6 other students that applied for a project to go to Germany and represent Kosovo in Albanian-Serbian conflict. It's going to be these 4 areas: Albania, Kosovo actually and Serbia, and Palestine and Israel. Both of us fight for land, and both of us fight for something for a very, very long time. So, I don't know. I'll get to understand when I go there, definitely.
We have a group of students from the north, the Serbian students, and we will organize different trainings and different seminars for them. We are trying to give them a message that many things depend on them, and that they should not wait for the others to make decisions and be just the passive observers.
First of all, I'm gonna understand why the war happened. Second, I'm gonna find out why do they insist so much that Kosovo is a Serbian land and they deserve to be here. Third, I'm gonna represent my point of view because, as I told you, I don't hate them, but at the same time, I'm not saying that I love them.
I knew what was happening around me, so I thought that I can give a small contribution by all my initiatives to to a better environment, to a better society. So I mean, me as an individual, I cannot do too much. But with my ideas, if I motivate more people to follow those ideas, then we can create a better environment for us and for all the people living here.
Pjesa që kom pas me pregaditë dhe me lexu about është prej vitit 1912 deri në vitin 1945. Mandena kur është pushtu prej forcave otomane, kur s'po di.
We had a multi-ethnic debate here in North Mitrovica, So Serbian students and Albanian students participated on that debate, and both teams were mixed. Those students have different opinions about the political issues and about some issues that are related to status and identity. That seminar shown that they have many things in common as a young people.
Welcome, Kosovo!
I didn't go out to celebrate because my family was in Mitrovica, north part, so they were afraid from any incident or something might happen, so they thought the best solution it would be if we come to Pristina. Any protest or something like this. Any fight or gun shooting or something.
Many Serbs were on the streets protesting, and so we just joined. So it was also very difficult day, very frustrating, but and I was just waiting for the end of that day, because it was really difficult to stand that injustice. We organized everyday protests, students' protests, and that's how we wanted to show that we will never agree with that illegal solution.
When I go somewhere, I'll be proud to tell them I'm from Kosovo, I exist somewhere, I have a passport, I have identity. Albanians and Kosovars are the same nation. We share the same language, we share the same attitude, we share the same culture. It's just that historically we were separated, and trust me, one day we're gonna be again together as one country.
I was the whole day in Mitrovica, like until I think 2 or 3 after midnight, walking on the streets, being with our friends, because it was very important for us to be together on that day.
I do see coexistence, but as I told you, they should get adopted to this place, to this country, to this culture and stuff. That's my point of view. Maybe I'm wrong. And I promised I'm not going to celebrate the Independence Day, 17th of February, until I know if Kosovo is totally Kosovo and if Mitrovica is just Mitrovica or it's South Mitrovica and North Mitrovica. To me, it's just Mitrovica, but to the other people, I want to be Mitrovica also for the others.
We are having a cocktail for the law students who were attending our legal clinic. That's our project. We hired the local attorneys at law and local judges. We designed a program. The students work with the attorneys at law and with the judges every week on getting the practical knowledge. I'm the chairman of the executive board of Independent Student Union of Kosovska Mitrovica, and I'm also the program director of the legal clinic. our university, there, the last information I have, around 30 students, Albanian students, and but you know, there are no Serbian students in Pristina, not even one.
When I came to live in Pristina, I had to come over here because of the situation. Right now I cannot go back because in Mitrovica we don't have university. So that's the reason why I live in Pristina. I study over here. It doesn't look like university though.
I had a dilemma, you know, between political science, international relations and diplomacy, and law. And as we don't have political science here, you know, I plan to go to Belgrade, but at that time, yeah, and also now, because my parents couldn't afford it, so that's why I decided to enter law.
It's quite good university. They offer us a lot, scholarships and stuff, and going abroad the country. This kind of programs.
For instance, if you know a program is offering 10 scholarships, then you know only one is for the Serbian community, and then the rest are for Albanians or maybe some other people from some other communities. So that's a big problem because in this way Albanians are creating their future elite, and you know we also need to invest more in creating our future elite, because that's how we can make some balance and improve the relations between the communities. I had many opportunities to travel, to participate on the international conferences, and I want to ensure this possibility to more students. Because only a few students from our university are traveling often and having a chance to meet other students from abroad and get this kind of experience.
For tomorrow's exam, I'm over. Next year I'll get my bachelor degree, and then I'm planning to continue masters. I was thinking if I can get a scholarship in London, eventually Vienna, because over there it's a very good university of diplomacy. I think I'm gonna go there, because I'm not afraid to live alone and abroad. I can't wait to graduate. I love the ceremonies. Things will get better. I'm positive of that. It's me and my friends and the youth that will change this country. One step at a time. There's no need to rush.
Dobroveče. That's my home. It looks a little bit wild, but nice. First, I'm gonna check my mail, and then I'm gonna study for this exam that I have the day after tomorrow.
My apartment looks kind of scary though. Why? 'Cause I don't know, these buildings were not finished, so whoever comes to the building gets kind of scared, but I got used to it. Come on, guys. Last year I lived with a family. She lived with some other roommates, and when I came back from United States, Katrina still didn't find apartment, and I was at the same position. We always knew each other, but since we started living together, I got so close to her.
This is the photo of me and my twin sister when we were babies with our mother. It's really old photo. I was lucky to become active in the student union and to work on different projects, and that's how I got a chance to travel a lot. We were in Palestine for 9 days, and we were 2 days in Israel, in Tel Aviv. We were there for a Model United Nations conference. So 5 students and 1 professor from our university were there. We performed Moravac and Igrale Sedeli, 2 Serbian traditional, dancings. This one we didn't practice because I think any Serb can dance this. But it is, really strange that we were really bad.
I get emotional whenever I look at these pictures. I was so happy. I was also at DC. I was at New York. It was the best summer I ever had. I enjoyed myself a lot, experienced something that I never did before. It changed me and it kind of got me stronger. Because when I saw that I can survive over there, I thought that I can survive everywhere. I do listen sometimes to Serbian music. The quiet one, especially when I feel low. Tosha Preski, oh my goodness, he died. I think I'm always gonna miss him. Because he died in a car accident, and his music was always the best. This is one of my favorite. And he was very handsome, very, very handsome.
After I finished my studying, I opened the window and I turn off the lights. I sit in this chair and I just play Frank Sinatra, and I enjoy at least for half an hour, relaxing. And sometimes I do this even before studying, to prepare for 800 pages, terrible 800 pages. This is not a complete enjoying because I have to turn off the light. Yeah, you can do it. Great.
Someday, when I'm awfully low, ponovo su usne tvoje, tak daleko da se ujeda, ti ne oprostim. Zašto ti je to? Trebalo, zar nisi mogla ti priznati? Još su ti usne umorne i sve što kažeš znam da nije. Još su ti suve cipele, na polju znam da kiša lije. Još su ti vreli obrazi, u oku sjaj ne prolazi. Još ti na licu piše čija si, samo moja nisi. Još su ti usne umorne.
Beesa went to the dialogue project in Germany and concluded that mutual understanding is still a complex goal to reach. But she had the time of her life.
Just the way.
My twin sister is calling. Hello.
Boyan visited Beirut and continued studying to reach his nearest goal, a scholarship to start his master's in England. I'm remaining an outsider, trying to get inside, but I'm making friends along the way, and my journey will continue.